And now the Omnibus edition of Waggoners' Walk. After Cliff got drunk at the Waggoners, he had a terrible hangover next day. But that wasn't the worst of his problems.
Someone's been talking to you.
Yes, they have, as it happens.
Oh, God, Shirley, I'm sorry, love. I was drunk. I don't know what came over me.
Funnily enough, I thought I heard someone shouting in the street last night. I never thought of it being you.
Yeah, well, I was drunk, Shirley.
But, Cliff, to go round and shout at George, of all people, especially after he'd agreed to make the flat over to us, and the things you said, you hurt him terribly, Cliff.
Shirley, listen, I'm sorry. I just don't remember a thing about it.
Well, that doesn't make it any better, does it? You'll have to apologise to George.
Oh, I suppose so.
But of course you will. How could you do a thing like that, just when we were really getting everything sorted out at last? Well, you still haven't told me why.
No, I don't remember. The last part of the evening is a total blank.
But why get drunk in the first place? There must have been a reason.
Did George tell you what I was on about? I mean, did he have any idea what it was that sort of triggered it off?
Well, not really. He just said you made a lot of noise. You called him an interfering old busybody and a thief.
Oh. Was that all?
Isn't that enough?
No, I don't mean that, love. I mean, well, I wondered if I'd said anything about the skill centre place, the tops course.
Well, now you've really lost me. Why should you stand off at George about your carpentry course?
Well, I reckon that's what's been getting me down, you see. I've been having a spot of bother there, and it's been playing on my mind, rather.
You never said anything to me, love. What sort of bother?
Well, I didn't want to talk about it. I felt a little bit stupid, really. And well, the thing is, the manager of the centre, Mr. Mason, he called me into the office and gave me a right rollicking.
What for?
Or ticked me off and not pulling my weight up, skiving a bit, taking time off when I should have been working. Well, he said I got to pull my socks up or else.
Oh, Cliff. Has it really got that bad?
Well, fair play. There's probably some truth in what he says. But don't worry, Shirley, I don't need telling twice. I'll toe the line from now on, you'll see.
And this all happened yesterday, did it? Him ticking you off?
Yeah, that's right. I suppose that's the reason why I had a dog too much last night.
And then you had to go and take it out on poor old George. But why couldn't you have told me about it? If something goes wrong, I want to know.
Yeah, well, I don't like bothering you with every little thing, and you've got your own problems. Keeping up with the Open University course and all of. Not that it seems to bother you much.
What do you mean?
It's comical, really, when you think about it. My wife's slogging away studying an Open University course, improving her mind, and there's me, practically getting chucked out of elementary woodwork. That's really hilarious, that is.
Oh, hey, careful.
Damn, now it's gone onto the cloth.
It'll wash out.
I'm being very clumsy this morning for some reason.
That's your third cup of black coffee, you know. Anyone would think you had a hangover.
Don't be daft.
As far as I remember, you were stone cold sober when you went to bed. Now look at you. Nothing to eat, not even a slice of toast. Nothing for breakfast but 2 aspirins and half a gallon of black coffee.
I've got a bit of a headache. I didn't sleep very well last night.
Yeah, I know. I was lying next to you, remember? Just turning like a whirling dervish you were. What's the problem?
Problem?
Oh, look, love. When you don't sleep, it's because you're wrestling with some problem or other. Something wrong in the restaurant?
Not exactly.
What's that supposed to mean? Business taking a bit of a nosedive, is it?
No more than usual at this time of year. It'll pick up at Easter.
Okay, then. What's the trouble?
There's nothing serious, Matt. It's not the restaurant that kept me awake. It's because I was lying awake that I started fretting about the restaurant. Silly little things, really. I'm sure I can sort them out quite easily at lunchtime.
Oh, you're not going until lunchtime?
No, I've got some odd jobs to do here. Oh, Lord, I forgot to tell them I'd be late today. I better phone.
Well, there won't be anyone there this early, surely.
Of course not. I'm going to ring Rob at home.
You won't, thank you. Getting him out of bed at this hour. Hey, by the way, Rob had a bright idea I meant to tell you.
Oh, what was that?
Well, we were talking about the freezer plant, and he suggested we should get in some casual labour. You know, part-timers.
Hello, Rob. Oh, Dickon. Yes, hello, it's Lynn Pryor. Sorry to bother you. Could I have a quick word with... He isn't. You mean he's gone out already? Oh, I see. No, it's not important. I'll catch him at the restaurant later. Bye, Dickon.
Not there, eh?
He didn't go home last night. Staying with friends, Dickon said.
Oh, he's a dark horse, that lad. Looks as if butter wouldn't melt in his mouth, and all the time he's out on the town, living it up night after night. I told him he's burning the candle at both ends.
Yes, I expect you're right. What were you saying just now?
Oh, it's amazing what you can get away with when you're young. Yeah, just now, what was that?
Something about casual labour at the freezer plant.
Oh, yes.
Part-time.
Yes, well, it's true. We could use extra help on a day-to-day basis when we're really pushed. Seemingly Rob's got some friend or other who's out of work. I said I might give him a try. I'd have to consult Bill, of course.
You would have to be very careful, Matt.
What?
Well, taking on a total stranger, I wouldn't rush into anything too hastily if I were you.
Come off it, I told you. He's a friend of Rob's. So it should be okay, shouldn't he?
I don't know. We don't really know very much about Rob's friends, do we?
What are you trying to say?
I'm not trying to say anything, just don't be in too much of a hurry, that's all. It's always a mistake to take on people sight unseen.
Who said anything about sight unseen? I simply told Rob if he knows someone suitable, send him along, we'll have a talk to him. Make up her own mind. What's wrong with that?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Sorry. I'm not thinking very clearly this morning.
So much for black coffee and aspirin.
Cheese biscuits, raspberry jam.
What was that, Peter? Were you addressing me?
No, Father,
I
I was not.
expected to hear what you say when you will mumble under your breath like that.
I was mumbling under my breath because I wasn't talking to you. I was checking the shopping list.
I should hardly have thought that necessitated reading it aloud. However, you know best, no doubt.
Baked beans.
No indigestible.
Then don't eat any. Gill and Jane are going through a passionate addiction to baked beans at the moment.
And so I observed. Perhaps you might get one of those tins of asparagus tips for me. The shop at the top of the hill has them, I believe.
I won't be going that way this morning. I shall be shopping at Rycott Road at the cut-price supermarket.
Oh,
I doubt if they carry asparagus tips among their special offers.
good heavens, why do you have to go there of all places?
Because it's more economical, and because I'm going to Rycott Avenue anyway. I want to see that big firm of builders on the corner.
Builders? Whatever for?
Well, I couldn't very well go back to Cuthbertson and Price and tell them we changed our minds about the extension yet again, could I?
I didn't know you had changed your mind again.
I haven't changed my mind. You have.
Nothing of the sort. I don't know what you're talking about.
Father, you told me you decided not to go and live with George at Waggoners Walk, just after we'd sent all the timber back. So now, if we need the extension after all, I shall have to get an estimate from a different builder, won't
The
I?
operative word is if. That's your trouble, you see. You will get carried away. If only you'd consult me first. These unfortunate misunderstandings would never arise. What a good job I happened to find out you were thinking of going to that builder at Rycott Avenue. I can save you a wasted journey.
How?
By telling you that I have made up my mind to accept George's generous offer.
But
I shall be moving into number 1 Waggoners Walk in a fortnight's time, so you needn't build the extension after all. You see, it's really very simple if only you exercise a little patience.
Father, you mean you are definitely moving out of this house in a fortnight's time?
Yes,
You won't be here after that?
that's what I said.
Yes, I know that's what you said, Father. But do you think I could have it in writing?
Now, you're just being childish. I am merely trying to point out that since you will not have to go to Rycott Avenue, you may as well do your shopping at the top of the hill. So you'll be able to get me those asparagus tips after all, won't you?
No.
Why, ever not?
I'm still not going in that direction. After what you told me, I shall go via the old bakery and call on Lynn.
What a nice surprise. Sit down. Can I get you a cup of coffee?
I'm telling you, Lynn, one more cup of coffee, you'll turn into a bean.
No, Lynn, don't bother. I can't stop long. I'm on a shopping trip.
What have you done with Gill and Jane? Are they in the car?
No, they're at home. I put Father in charge till I get back.
Oh.
After the way he's mucked us all about lately, it's the least he could do.
Well, he hasn't been mucking us about, has he?
Oh, well, you know what I mean. Until he stopped shilly-shallying and decided where he wants to live, none of us could really settle down. Mind you, it's poor old Jeremy who really got shuttled around. Still, that's sorted itself out now, thank goodness.
I don't think Jeremy has any complaints, Peter.
Oh, no, I'm sure he hasn't. He's had a wonderful time here, but he can move back to his own home now, so no more problems.
I take it your father's going at last, then?
Yes, not before time. I mustn't be uncharitable, though. He means well, and we've enjoyed having him to stay. But I
wouldn't want it to go on as a permanent arrangement, nor would he.
Of course.
So I thought I'd call in and give you some advance warning. The Nashes are moving out at the end of next week, I understand, and George Underdown will be moving into number 1 almost immediately, and then, well, any time after that, Father will move in too.
It seems odd to imagine that house without Mike and Claire in it.
It'll be even odder to think of Father living there. Still, if that's what he wants, who are we to argue? Now, about Jeremy. I thought we'd pick him up that weekend. That'll give you plenty of time
Peter,
to get...
do you think we could talk about all this another time?
Well, if you like. But I'd like to get things settled.
It's only that you've picked a rather fraught moment. Matt and I are both up to our eyes at the moment.
Yes. Yes, been one of those days, you know, Peter.
He's having trouble finding the right person to do part-time work at the freezer plant, and I've got to go across to Rob. I mean to the restaurant.
Yes. Well, I'm sorry about that. But even
I
so...
know, it's very tiresome of me, but I really do have to dash, so,
Well, all right, then. We'll talk about it some other time. But, soon. Well, I'll leave you in peace now. Oh, incidentally, this probably fits in rather well in view of your situation.
Sorry?
Well, I was going to say, in any case, since we didn't see Jeremy last weekend, I'll collect him from school tomorrow and take him home for tea. Since you're both so busy, you'll be glad to have him off your hands for a while. Well, it'll make a nice change for all of us.
Yes,
You know, I can't remember the last time we came home to tea.
I always go home for tea.
No, I meant to Minden Road.
Oh, I remember when that was.
Do you? When was it?
Well, I don't remember the day, but I know Jane was sick.
Oh. Well, let's hope she won't do a repeat performance this afternoon.
You said it was because she got overexcited. Girls do, don't they?
Oh, sometimes. Like everybody else. They're very excited at the moment because they haven't seen you lately. Looking forward to it.
Oh,
You have to tell us all the things you've been doing at school. You've got a lot to catch up on.
I don't suppose they'd be very interested. They're really too young to understand. Hey, see that shop?
Which one?
The grocer's, the last but one. Oh, we've gone past.
What about it?
I've been there, in the back where none of the customers go. That shop sells some of Matt's frozen foods. Bill took me in the van one Saturday to make a delivery.
Oh, well, that must have been very interesting.
It was ace. The manager gave me a crunchy bar. And they've got closed-circuit television to spy on the shoplifters.
Splendid. Oh, not much further now. Let's hope we catch the lights. Oh, bad luck.
When I was out with Alexis once, he went across the lights just as they were changing to red.
Oh, well, I hope he doesn't make a habit of doing stupid things like that. Especially when he's got you as a passenger.
Oh, Matt doesn't let him use the van very often anyway, except in emergencies.
Do they often have emergencies?
Well, sometimes. When there's a rush job on and everything happens at once. It's quite exciting, actually.
Really? Oh, do come on. You think they've got stuck at red?
No. We'll just have to be patient. It's okay, though. I mean, we're not actually in any hurry, are we?
Well, I promised Grandpa we'd be back... there we go.
Have you got any chocolate cake for tea? Chocolate cake's my favourite.
I hadn't forgotten.
Oh, great.
Jeremy, did Mummy tell you about Grandpa moving out of Minden Road?
No, she didn't. Where's he going?
Oh, he's going to share a house in Waggoners Walk with Mr. Underdown. It'll be very nice for him.
Will it?
And nice for us too, of course.
What do you mean?
Well, don't you see, when Grandpa goes, you can have your own room back. You can come home.
Oh.
Don't you think that's a good idea?
Oh, yes. It's okay.
Only what?
Well, it's going to be difficult, isn't it? About the swimming.
What do you mean?
Well, I go swimming every week with Rob now, and I can't stop doing that because my PE teacher says if I practice enough, he'll put me in the junior team for the gala. So, you see, I've got to go on at...
Well, there's no problem, really. I'm sure Rob will go on taking you when you're back at Minden Road if we ask him nicely. Don't worry. I'll have a word with Mummy about it. We'll work something out.
Hello, Debbie.
Just beginning to wonder where you'd got to.
Hello, Dickon.
I came into the ward and there was a total stranger in your bed. I couldn't think what had happened.
Well, they moved me.
You know, the woman in the next bed recognized me. She told me where you were.
Oh, she would. Mavis never stops.
Why did they move you down to this end of the ward?
Well, it's quieter down here. You get so much going on up that end by the office because they put all the difficult cases up there, see? And I'm getting better all the time. Be out here the beginning of the next week, they said.
Oh, great.
Wouldn't say that again. Look, would you hang on a sec? I just want to finish this.
Can I post it for you when I go?
Oh, it's not a letter, but you can take it with you when you go. It's a piece for the Herald. At least I hope it will be, if Liz likes it.
Oh, you're writing.
Yeah, there. That's the last page.
I must say I take off my hat to you.
Well, you've got to do something to stop yourself going balmy.
Yeah. Looking round, I see what you mean.
You don't know what it's like, Dickon. All they do is talk about babies, babies, babies all day long.
Not much longer. Where is it? He. The baby, I mean.
He's out in the nursery with all the others. They shut them off out the way when we got visitors.
Oh, I see, yeah. In case they pick up God knows what from God knows whom. How is he?
Oh, he's fine now. At least he will be when the bruises clear up. I must say he's quite good-tempered. He lies in his cot quite happily most of the time. Except when he gets hungry, then he starts to create a bit.
I'd love to see him. Hey, what you going to call him?
Sam.
Oh, I thought you were going to call him after me. Still, Sam's not a bad name to be going on with.
Well, Sam was my granddad's name, and he was all right, well, as far as I can remember. So I thought, why not?
Hey, I brought you some chocolates.
Oh, Dickon, you're a nut. These must have cost a bomb.
Where you're concerned, no expenses ever spared.
Goodness knows what they'll do to me, but thanks anyway. I tell you what I'd really like, if you can bear to bring me something else.
Try me.
Some of those big foolscap pads from the office, and a few more biros.
Oh, right.
I never thought when I come in. They only have these soppy little sheets of notepaper here. This place has given me an idea for a whole series of articles. Do you want to read this one while you're here? Tell me what you think.
Mr. Undertow.
Down.
Oh, sorry. Down. Well, this is a nice surprise. You're quite a stranger.
Yes, I haven't been in lately. I must admit I've been rather busy.
Well, it's all the nicer to see you now. Now, what can I get you?
Well, as a matter of fact, I didn't really come in for a drink. I was hoping to see Cliff. Isn't he in this evening?
Oh, yes, dear. He's down in the cellar putting on a new barrel. He'll be up in a minute or two. Or would you like me to give him a shout?
No, don't do that. I'm not in any rush. Perhaps I will have a drink while I'm waiting after all.
Oh, don't let me twist your arm. There's no obligation.
No. I think perhaps a whiskey mac will go down nicely.
Oh, warm you up, eh?
Will you join me?
Oh, thanks all the same. It's a bit early in the evening for me. Some other time.
I quite understand. It's a little early. The fact is, I just got home from work and I found a note Clifford left. He said he called a couple of times, wanted to see me, so I thought I'd better come and find out what it's all about.
Oh, I see. Well, I think he's learned his lesson, if that's what's worrying you. He won't do that again in a hurry.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, I was thinking of the other night when he had more than a drop too much and started carrying on. He came over to see you after closing time, didn't he?
You heard about that, did you?
Oh, he didn't mean anything by it. Really, of course. He was only being silly. Oh, I know he was ever so cut up about it afterwards. You should have seen him the next day.
This is back on now, Jessie. Oh, hello there.
Talk of the devil.
Evening, Cliff.
We were just talking about you.
Yeah, I bet. Can I get you a drink, George?
Oh, there now. Here's me chattering 19 to the dozen and it went clean out of my head. Oh, one whiskey mac, wasn't it? Hang on.
Thanks for coming over, George.
Well, you did say in your note it was something important.
Oh, yes, it is. Two things, really, and they're both important. First of all, I've got to apologise to you for the other night. I was completely smashed, of course.
Yes, I realise that. And I tried to make allowances, but I'm not...
No question of that. From what I've been told, I must have said some really terrible things to you, George. Unforgivable things, and I'm sorry. I'm very sorry indeed. But fact is, I don't remember a word of it.
You don't?
After about 10 o'clock, it's a total blank. And that's the other important thing. You've got to tell me truthfully, mind, what did I say exactly?
Come in, Mr. Tyson. Sit down.
Well, I'm sorry to bother you when you're so busy, Rob.
Oh, it's no bother at all. We're very quiet this evening. You've probably noticed when you came through.
Yes, I suppose you get the occasional off night.
Yeah, I'll build up again at Easter.
Lynn not here at the moment?
No, I said there was no point in her hanging on, so she went back home.
Oh, no. I've just come from there.
You must have passed each other on the way.
We had Jeremy round for tea, and I drove him back to the old bakery. And I thought I'd stop off for a quick word with Lynn. Though, come to think of it, I might just as well talk to you about it, as I'm here.
Mm-hmm. About what?
Well, you know that Jeremy's coming home shortly when my father moves out.
No, I didn't.
Oh, well, he is. And I talked to Jeremy about it earlier on. He's very anxious that moving back won't mean that he has to give up his swimming practice with you at weekends.
I see.
Well, I said we might be able to persuade you to carry on anyway. Apparently he's been entered for some swimming gala at the school.
Yeah, he told me. He's getting pretty good, actually. Oh, excuse me a second, would you?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Friar's Restaurant? Oh, hello. Yeah. Look, could you hold on a minute? Sorry about that. I was going to say, that's okay by me. I'll be very happy to carry on as usual, if that's what you want.
Oh, fine. I know Jeremy will be delighted. Well, I'll leave you to it then.
Right then. See you soon, Mr. Tyson.
Yes, indeed. Oh, and thanks again, Rob. It's been a great help. Good night.
Good night. Hello, you still there? Yeah. Tonight? No, I can't. Sorry. Well, tomorrow might be possible. Yeah, I'll try and get up early if I can. All right, then. Tomorrow night, at your place.
What time do you call this to come back from lunch?
Maurice, good. Hello, I didn't see you standing there.
I'll bet you didn't. Staggering in between the desks. After a long session propping up the bar, no doubt.
I had 1/2 and a ham sandwich, and that was all. Scout's honour.
Scout's honour. What took you so long, then?
I've been working my way round all the members of the staff, one by one.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about you chatting up the girls in the typing pool.
I've been collecting. I'm doing pretty well, too.
Collecting?
For Debbie. Or rather, for her baby. Liz thought it was a good idea.
Oh, well, she would, wouldn't she? It's one of her basic principles. You, too, can have 15 children and hold down a full-time job. She's all in favour.
There's a card as well. I got everybody to sign it. I even left a space for you. Right there.
Oh, you expect me to contribute to this, do you?
Of course. Why not?
Oh, I can think of a dozen reasons, but... what's the use? Here you are. Put that in your collecting box.
Yeah, it's very generous of you, Maurice.
I suppose you know that myth about the Scots' reputation was started by us in self-defence. Where do I sign?
There. Thanks very much.
Oh, why I should shell out hard cash to help support Debbie Franks while she's lying back in a cosy bed not doing a hand's turn, I don't...
That's where you're wrong. I went in yesterday. She was bashing out an article for the Woman's Page. And just gave it to Liz, as a matter of fact.
Oh, so that's the latest. Freelancing on the side, eh?
Oh, why not? There's several women who send in freelance pieces to the Herald.
Aye. I'm well aware of that.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry.
Oh, for God's sake, you don't have to apologise. It's not a taboo subject, you know.
No, of course not.
I was about to ask you, as a matter of fact, how is your sister? Have you seen her lately?
We keep in touch. I'm taking her out for a meal this evening.
Oh?
It's my turn. She took me out last time. We went to the NFT.
Oh, of course, the National Film Theatre. Cressida's idea of a wild night out.
It was fun, actually. Except that we met one of her old friends and we got rather stuck with him.
Which one?
Simon Wythe.
Ah, yes, I've met Mr. Wythe. We didn't exactly hit it off.
Oh, I can't stand him either. But he seemed very pleased to see Cressy.
Oh, well, I hope she's not stupid enough to get mixed up with him again. He's a dead loss, that one.
Yes.
Still, I suppose it's no concern of mine what she does. Not anymore.
For this relief, much thanks.
Sorry, Rob?
Hamlet. What I meant was, they've gone at last.
Who have?
Those two at table 4.
Oh.
No, they wanted coffee all the time. I must give them 6 refills. I thought they'd never go.
Well, I expect they had things to talk about.
They certainly had. From what I could gather, he was trying to persuade her to go away with him for the weekend, but she wasn't interested because he wasn't preparing to take her abroad.
Really? Did you lock up?
Yep, and I relayed the tables for the night. Anything else?
Let me see. Oh, well, there was one thing I meant to say.
What was that, then?
No, it's gone. Doesn't matter.
Oh, it can't be anything important.
No.
Anyway, if you think of it later, you can always tell me tonight. Oh, about tonight.
What about it?
You will be here, won't you?
Yes, of course I will. Why?
Well, I'm going to ask a favour. It doesn't look as if we're going to be very busy again. Bookings are down on last Friday.
Yes, I noticed.
So what I thought was, well, as long as there isn't a sudden rush at the last minute, would it be all right if I went off a bit early?
Like I did last night, you mean?
Well, yeah. If that doesn't upset your plans.
I expect we can manage.
Well, I wouldn't ask, only... Well, I had a call from this friend of mine. He asked me if I'd like to go to his place for a drink, and... Well, it makes it a bit late if I don't leave here till midnight.
Yes, of course, I quite understand.
Fine. Thanks a lot. Well, I'd better get on with the sweet trolley. We're a bit low on the trifle. I thought I'd make another one just in case we're mobbed tonight.
Rob,
Yeah?
tomorrow afternoon, when we finish the lunches, I'd like you to stay on and plan the new spring menu with me.
Tomorrow?
Yes, I want to get it ready for Easter. The sooner we make a start.
Oh, yeah, I agree. We ought to. But the only thing is, Saturdays, I always take Jeremy to the baths, so...
Ah, that's what I meant to tell you. I knew there was something. I'm afraid Jeremy may be starting a cold. He was awfully sniffly this morning, so, I think we'd better forget about swimming for the time being, just in case.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Well, I'll help you with the new menu instead, then.
Hello?
Hello there, how are you?
I'm fine. Who's that?
Who's that, she says, as if you didn't know.
I'm sorry, I haven't the faintest idea. Are you sure you've got the right number?
Oh, come on, Cressida, don't be like that. It's me. Simon. I told you the other night I'd give you a call, didn't I?
Oh, Simon, sorry. I didn't recognize your voice.
I'm very glad I caught you. I was afraid you might have gone swanning off for the weekend.
No. Why?
Oh, I don't know. You could have been paying a visit to the ancestral home.
No, not this weekend.
Splendid. Then perhaps you will have dinner with me this evening.
Simon, I can't.
Of course you can.
No, I really can't. I've got a date already.
So what? Stand him up and come out with me instead. He doesn't deserve you anyway.
I'm going out with Dickon this evening.
Well, you can always ditch your brother, for heaven's sake. That's what brothers are for.
I don't want to ditch him. No, Simon, really, I can't.
All right, then. How about tomorrow or Sunday? Name a time and place.
Well, it's a bit tricky this weekend, actually. I'm not sure what I'll be doing.
Don't tell me you're going to sit by the phone all the time waiting for that bad-tempered Scotsman to call you.
It's none of your business, Simon.
So you have split up.
I didn't say that.
You didn't have to. When a gorgeous girl like you goes out with her brother 2 weeks running, it can only mean one thing.
Simon, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, I'll say no more. But, when you get fed up with sitting at home all by yourself, you only have to pick up the phone and dial my number. I'll be waiting.
Goodbye, Simon.
More coffee.
What? Oh, sorry. What did you say?
Honestly, you were miles away. Been miles away all evening. Might as well have gone out to dinner on my own.
Sorry. I was just thinking about something, that's all.
Something called Maurice Gill, I presume.
Of course not. Don't be silly. Could I have another cup of coffee?
You took the words right out of my mouth.
I'm not being very good company tonight, am I? And it's not fair, because that was a fantastic meal. I really like this place.
It's not bad, is it?
I've been meaning to try Prior's for ages, but somehow I never did.
Not exactly Maurice's cup of tea.
And I'm glad I met Rob again. He's very nice.
Yes, he is.
Not that we had much chance to talk, but he seems very easy to...
I'll see you tomorrow.
Here he comes.
Hi.
Hi, Rob.
Do you need any more coffee?
Oh, no, thanks. No, there's still plenty in the pot.
All right, then. Well, if you want any more, just tell one of the girls.
Are you off already?
Yeah. Well, we're not exactly run off our feet tonight.
Oh, well, why don't you sit down and keep us company?
Yes,
Cressida was
do.
just saying we've hardly seen you.
Well, I'd like to, Dickon, but I've got a date this evening.
Oh, well, off you go then. We won't hold you up.
Some other time, perhaps.
I certainly hope so. It's been nice seeing you anyway. Good night.
Good night.
Bye, Rob. Have a good time.
Has he got a permanent girlfriend?
I don't think so.
Oh, he just plays the field, does he?
Sort of.
Simon rang me this afternoon. He asked me out to dinner, but I told him I couldn't.
Good for you. After the way he treated you, don't tell me he wants to make a comeback.
Oh, he's not that bad. And he's always had rather a thing about me.
I told Morris we met him the other night, and he said he thought...
What? You told Maurice? What's it got to do with Maurice?
Well, nothing. Except that Simon is one of the few subjects on which Morris and I are in complete agreement. He described him as a dead loss.
He said he hoped you wouldn't get mixed up with Simon again.
Well, thank you very much. It's nice to know you're both so concerned with my social life. As it happens, Simon asked me to go out with him this weekend, and you might like to tell your friend Maurice Gill I'm looking forward to it very much.
Help yourself to another drink, Rob.
No, thanks, Rocky.
I'm just trying to help you unwind a little. You're always so tense when you leave that damn restaurant.
I'm okay. Really.
I wish to God you didn't have to work there. It's like breaking into Fort Knox just to get through to you.
No, it's not that bad.
It's worse. Well, first of all, you bawl me out because I came to meet you after work once. And you tell me I shouldn't even call you on the telephone.
Well, it's not easy.
You're darn right it's not. Well, what am I, some kind of two-headed monster? Are you ashamed of people knowing about me? Is that it?
It's different for you. Look, you can mix your private life and your working life, and nobody cares. But I can't.
When are you going to come out in the open, Rob, and tell them all to go to hell?
You don't understand what it's like.
Stop looking so serious. Look, have another drink.
No, really, I'd better not. I've got to drive home.
Oh, you don't have to. You can always stay over. You know that.
Yeah, I know, but I've got to go to work tomorrow morning.
Oh, you could go on from here just as well. You could stay here the whole weekend if you wanted to. There's 2 spare bedrooms to choose from.
Rocky, that's a very kind suggestion, but...
You know what? I've got an even better suggestion. Why don't you leave your flat in Waggoners Walk and move in here, huh? There's no need to look so flabbergasted. Well, think it over, anyway.
Ah, good morning, Father.
It's begun to drizzle.
Well, that won't worry you, will it? I suppose you're thinking of going out?
I might have done. Yes, I might very well have gone out. I was thinking of calling on George and discussing our plans for next weekend.
Ah, yes. When you both move into number 1.
I shan't go, of course.
You what?
I shan't go out if it's raining. I mustn't risk catching a cold.
Oh, I see. You gave me rather a shock, Father.
What are you talking about?
Oh, nothing. I just thought for a moment you went, it doesn't...
Oh, you can't wait to be rid of me now, I suppose. Go on, don't spare my feelings. Be honest.
Now, that's a complete distortion of the truth, and you know it. We've all been pleased to have you here. But we all know you'll be a lot happier in a place of your own.
And Jeremv can have his room back after I've gone. Yes, I'm well aware of my position in the order of priorities.
Well, it is his home, after all. It's only natural for us to want him back.
It's equally natural for Lynn to want him too, I should have thought. That's been his home ever since Christmas.
Has Lynn been saying anything to you, Father?
No. Why?
Because I'm afraid that may be exactly the way her mind's working. Every time I try to talk to her about Jeremy coming back here, she's always too busy. She's just popped out for a moment. I think she's avoiding me.
Nonsense. She leads a very full life. I've no doubt she is busy.
Well, we'll see. There's no point in her trying to put it off. There. Ah, that's the last of the potatoes.
It's not right. I don't care if I am being old-fashioned. I still say it's not right.
Father, you must allow me to decide what's best for Jeremy.
I'm not talking about Jeremy. I meant you, up to your elbows in the sink peeling potatoes. What sort of occupation is that for a grown man?
Well, now, let's not have an argument about that.
But I still say that's not the way I expect my son to spend a Sunday morning, doing the housework.
I suppose you think I should have gone to church.
You could do the same as every other able-bodied man in this street. Go out and wash the motor car. There's somebody at the back door.
Yes, Father. Ah, Mr. Tully.
Good morning, Mr. Tyson. I hope I haven't called it a...
No, that's quite all right.
Oh, excuse me.
Come on in. I don't think you've met my father. This is Mr. Tully, Father, from the boat yard.
How do you do?
How do you do, Mr. Tyson? I'm very pleased to meet you. Your son's told me a lot about you.
Oh, has he? Indeed.
It's nice to see you, Mr. Tully. What are you doing in this part of the world?
Well, I did say I'd call in sometime when I got a minute to spare to look at that timber.
The timber? Oh.
I had a quick look through the garden on my way through, but I couldn't see any timber. Where are you keeping it?
Oh, sorry, Rob. Oh, my fault.
Oh, no, I shouldn't have been walking backwards. Oh.
Hey, what have you got in that box? 1/2 weight of coal?
No, books. And I am here to tell you,
that pound for pound, books weigh more than any other substance known to man.
Want me to give you a hand?
Oh, well, it's a tempting offer, but no. You're on your way out. I mustn't hold you up. You're off to the restaurant to do the Sunday lunches, eh?
I shall be, very soon. But I'm not going out yet. I was just coming in, as a matter of fact.
Ah, well, you've been out to get the Sunday papers in, huh?
No. Actually, I was out last night, staying with some friends. I only came home to get changed before I go to work.
Oh, I see.
Here, let's get that box downstairs. Come on. Be a whole lot easier with two of us.
Oh, well, I won't argue with that. Right, ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, and up. Oh, God.
I see what you mean. Oh, how many books have you got in here, anyway?
It's the contents of only one bookcase, I'm afraid. There'll be 3 more like this.
Oh, how are we doing?
Oh, there's only a couple more steps to go. I tried to weed some of them out. When it came to the point, I kept thinking, you never know, you might need that one day.
Yeah.
Here we are. That's done.
Whew.
Right, thanks, Rob. Now, I'm afraid for the next few days, the house is going to be fairly chaotic.
Oh, won't bother me. I'm not here all that much, anyhow.
No, I suppose you're not. You're not thinking of moving as well, by any chance, eh?
What makes you say that?
Well, I only thought, well, you seem to have been away quite a bit recently. I wondered if you had any other plans.
No. Well, to be quite honest, I did have the offer of a place, but, well, I don't think I'll be moving for quite a while. This suits me fine.
Mr. Tully, I do apologise. I've dragged you out on a wild goose chase.
Don't give it another thought, Mr. Tyson. It doesn't matter at all.
It's so stupid. When I thought we were going to be stuck with all that timber, I rang you up on the off chance.
You will do these things without stopping to think.
And then when I cancelled the extension, the builders came round and collected everything up. I never gave it another thought. I should have rang you back.
As I say, it doesn't matter. It gives an excuse to get away from the yard for half an hour. I was glad to get out of the office this morning, to be honest.
Well, this is your busiest time of the year, isn't it? All the new contracts for spring and summer.
Well, generally speaking, that's the truth. Winter time, we don't reckon to do more than ticking over, like.
It was inexcusable of my son to bring you all this way for nothing when you're so busy. Peter, surely you'll offer Mr. Tully a cup of coffee. It's the least you can do.
I was just going to do that, Father. Do you want one?
Not at the moment, thank you. I only came in to collect the Sunday papers. I'll just take them back to my room, if I may. Not that it'll be my room for very much longer, of course.
I beg pardon?
I don't know whether Peter told you. I'm being moved out to make way for my grandson.
Oh, really?
Still, that's what one must expect as one gets older. One has to step aside and make way for the younger generation. The old order changeth. I shan't complain, you understand. All I want is to fall in with everyone else's plans, with the least possible fuss.
May heaven forgive you.
Goodbye, Mr. Tully.
Bye.
Very nice to have met you. I may see you again one day, I hope, if I'm spared. If you can bring me a cup of coffee up and some biscuits in about half an hour, Peter. Say at 11 o'clock.
Well, now you've met my father. But I warn you, you have to take what he says with a handful of salt.
Oh, I could tell he was laying it on a bit. He's just like my old dad. He could be a real terror when he didn't get his own way.
Yes. You do take sugar, don't you, Mr.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, he was quite a character, my old dad. Wonderful head for business, though. He ran that yard like clockwork, he did.
Your coffee.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Goodness knows what he'd say if he could see it now, mind.
I'm sorry?
Well, it's not what it used to be. And that's a fact. Business isn't exactly on the up and up. Oh, I dare say some of it's my fault. But you know better than anyone, the other side is not my strong suit. But it's not only that, man, it's the whole thing. The industry's dying out.
Yes, I suppose there isn't the same demand to build new barges. Oh, sorry, narrow boats.
Aye, you're right. Oh, we get repair work to keep us going, and there's been a bit of interest in letting boats for holiday makers in the summer. But there's no shutting your eyes to the fact. Building new craft for the canals, well, it's on its last legs.
What'll happen to the boatyard then?
I don't know, Mr. Tyson. I wish I did.
Here you are, Rob. That's the last receipt. We can cash up now.
Thanks. Oh, that's a good one, too.
How did this week compare with the previous Sunday?
We were about £30 up on last week.
Oh, great. You see, Lynn was right. She said it'd pick up by Easter.
Sunday lunch is always pretty steady. I reckon it's because people are too lazy to get up and cook for themselves after Saturday night. Oh, God, sorry.
Oh, I'll go stalking.
You look as if you had a pretty wild Saturday night yourself.
Oh, well, once in a while.
Once in a while. You've been out nearly every night lately.
You've been checking up on me.
Oh, come on, I can't help noticing when you're not there. Still the same one?
Yes, it is.
Well, I just hope that you're going to...
I'm sorry, excuse me.
What are you doing here, Alexis?
If you're looking for Mrs. Price, she left about half an hour ago.
Yes, I know. She sent me back here because she left her handbag behind.
Did she? Oh, I didn't notice.
He's under the desk, she say?
Yeah? Oh, hang on. Oh, she's right. Here it is, Alexis.
She sent you all the way back to fetch her bag?
Oh, he's nothing. I was going out this afternoon to meet a young lady I know. It was not out of my way.
Yeah, well, she's going to get a bit of a shock when you turn up swinging your handbag.
Oh, he's only a small handbag. and I got the big pockets in this overcoat. One moment. Something in the way.
You've got too much in there already.
No. Fool that I am. I forgot to take these out.
Underwater goggles? Who is this lady friend you're meeting? A mermaid?
Those are Jeremy's goggles, aren't they?
Oh, sure. I forgot to give them back to him last night after the swimming.
Hang on. You went swimming with Jeremy yesterday?
That's right, yes. Mrs. Breyer, she explained how you were too busy to go. She say from now on, I go to the baths with Jeremy instead.
But she told me he wasn't going swimming this week. She said he had a cold coming on.
Oh, no. You must have some mistake. Jeremy has no cold. He's okay.
Well, somebody made a mistake. How peculiar.
Yes. Isn't it?
Come along, ladies. Stop what you're doing, both of you. Tea's ready.
I'm just going to finish wrapping these glass vases.
No, Shirley, leave that for now. Have your tea while it's hot. Come along, Mrs. Brewer. You as well.
Oh, well, I won't say no. Ooh! It isn't until you straighten up you realise you got muscles you never even knew about.
I told you should have let me clear out those things from the bottom shelf.
Well, I'm very grateful to both of you for volunteering to help me pack up. I don't know how I'd have managed without you.
Well, if we get all this stuff parcelled up now, you'll only have the heavy pieces left for the moving men when they come.
I don't see why you need to get removal men at all. It's only across the road. I'm sure we could have managed it between us.
The sofa and the sideboard. I don't think so, Shirley.
Cliff could have got one of his mates to help.
Oh, no. I don't want to impose on anybody, least of all Cliff.
Oh, go on. He'd have been glad to. Still feels bad about the other night. It would have been one way of atoning.
Not another word, Shirley. He had 1 over the 8. It could have happened to anybody. Well, almost anybody.
Oh, it was so stupid. Just because he was feeling a bit low. He'd had some trouble with the bloke in charge of his carpentry course, apparently.
Oh, no, dear. It wasn't that. Oh, don't you worry about that.
Sorry?
Oh, it wasn't anything to do with his carpentry course. That was the day after when he got it taken off. He told me about that.
You sure?
Oh, yes. Because he said that made it all the worse, having the hangover at the time.
Anyway, there's no point in discussing it now. It's all over
No,
and
just
done.
a minute. You were there when he got drunk, weren't you, Mrs. Brewer? You were in the bar.
Oh, yes, dear. Oh, I couldn't stop him. I did try.
Did you have any idea what set him off? Did he say anything?
Oh, he said all sorts of things, but none of it made any sense. He was just talking rubbish most of the time. He kept telling everyone he was celebrating. He insisted on buying drinks all round.
Celebrating?
Something about the flat, was it?
Oh, no, nothing as sensible as that. He was just making things up, and he said something about the baby. Well, like I said, it was all some sort of silly joke, wasn't it?
Oh, damn, that's all I need.
Now what?
My shaving cream's run out.
Oh, darling, I'm sorry about that. I caught Gill and Jane playing with it the other day, and I meant to warn you to get a new one.
Now she tells me. Oh, well, I'll just have to use soap, I suppose.
You could be really daring and not shave at all today. I like you being a bit stubbly. It's rather sexy.
Now, stop being provocative, Mrs. Tyson.
Darling, I haven't got time to be provocative. I've got to be at work sharp on 9. I've got some masses to do today.
Yes, and I've got to go and call on Lynn. Yeah, you're quite right.
There's always this evening.
What, after we've got the kids to bed? After you've done all the work you bring home from the office? When we're both punch drunk and half asleep? I don't know. How do people with jobs and families ever find the time?
We will. But I really have got a brute of a day today.
Yeah, me too. You know, I think I'd better make an effort and try to shave.
Whatever for? You afraid of Lynn?
What a ridiculous thing to say. Of course I'm not.
Well, then what does it matter if you're unshaven?
Oh, she has a nasty knack of cutting you down to size. And I want to keep the upper hand in this particular interview. One thing, I'm going to take her by surprise. That's always a good beginning.
Do you think you'll be able to pin her down this time?
Oh, every time I broach the subject, she's made some excuse and wriggled out of it. She's not going to wriggle any more. This afternoon, I'm going round to the restaurant, and I'm certainly going to pin her down. We've got to come to a definite arrangement. Jeremy's been at the old bakery for nearly 3 months now. This is his home, and it's high time he came back to us.
They don't want to start another series of arguments with Lynn and Matt.
I'm not going to argue with her, darling. I'm going to tell her.
Oh, there you are, Rob. Are you busy?
Not particularly. I was just laying up the tables ready for this evening.
Well, could you leave it for a while? I've got the new menus roughed out, the ones we were discussing on Saturday, and I'd rather like to go through them with you.
Yes, okay. Is Sophie in the office?
No, she's gone off for her break. Why?
Oh, that's all right. So we can talk privately, can't we?
Yes, of course. Is something the matter?
Well, I'm not sure, but I'd like to have a word with you on your own.
Oh. All right, Rob. Let's go into the office.
I'll just shut the door, if you don't mind. It's about Jeremy.
What about Jeremy?
Well, the other day you told me you didn't want me to take him swimming because he was starting a cold.
Yes, well?
Yesterday, Alexis called in to collect your handbag, and he happened to mention that he'd taken Jeremy to the baths on Saturday.
Oh, I see. Yes, that's absolutely right. I thought Jeremy was getting a bit of a sniffle on Friday, but it didn't amount to anything, so I decided to let him go after all. He'd have been disappointed to miss it.
So you went with Alexis instead?
Yes, well, by then we'd arranged to do some work on the menus, hadn't we? I didn't want to change our plans again.
But Alexis also told me that he'd be going to the baths regularly with Jeremy from now on, instead of me.
Oh. Well, I meant to tell you about that. We got so much work done here on Saturday, it seemed to be a good idea for us to go on using that time for a weekly planning meeting.
It also seemed a good idea for me not to go swimming with your son anymore, right?
But I just explained.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't believe your explanation. Have you changed your opinion of me in the last few days?
Of course not.
Could it by any chance be connected with the fact that Rocky Rowlands came here to meet me the other night?
Rob, I don't want to go into all this.
But I do. Look, you've reached your own conclusions about my private life. And now, in the light of what you know, or think you know, you've decided I'm not fit to be trusted to look after your son, right?
I never said that.
I'm homosexual. I'm not denying that. But that doesn't mean I go around molesting children.
Rob, will you please let me speak? I'm not attempting to dictate to you how you live your life. But equally, you can't dictate to me how I choose to bring up my son.
You don't trust me.
I just feel it would be better.
You think it's a sort of infectious disease he can pick up by spending a few hours in my company? Is that really what you think?
I don't know, Rob.
No, you don't know. That's the trouble. You jump to all sorts of conclusions. You get into a panic. You treat me as if I was some kind of monster. And you don't know the first thing about it.
Well, who's next on the list?
Graham McFarlane.
Uh-huh, which one is he?
You know, we saw him last week, the Australian.
Oh, yes. Oh, that one, yes, I remember.
I rather liked him, actually.
Yes, I remember that as well. Don't want to influence your decision, Liz, but he could be a problem, I suspect.
In what way?
Well, it's a question of personality. You don't want someone who's going to get on everybody's nerves, do you?
Oh, I don't think he'd do that, from the little that we saw of him.
Well, it's up to you, of course. I'm only running up a small red flag to warn you. Have you thought how he and Maurice would get on, for instance?
Oh, shush. This'll be him. Come in.
Hello there. It's me again.
Oh, so it is. Come on in, Mr. McFarlane. Shut the door, would you?
Hello, Mrs. Tyson.
Hello. Sit down, won't you? How did you find out my married name?
Oh, I go around asking questions.
Which no doubt makes you an excellent reporter. But it may not win you a lot of friends.
Well, my friends take me as they find me. As for the rest, if I upset people, that's too bad. I can't help the way I am, and I'm too old to change now, I reckon.
How old are you, by the way, Mr. McFarlane?
24. And the name's Graham.
That's what it says here on my list. Thank you.
Generally known as Gray. Graham McFarlane's a bit of a mouthful when you're trying to get your foot in the door.
Well, Gray, why don't we go back to the beginning? How long have you been in England?
I left Melbourne last September.
You came to London on business, did you?
Oh, no. Listen, I've been bumming my way around Europe. I spent Christmas in Norway, New Year in Stockholm, and finally landed in London. And of all the places I've seen, I reckon this suits me best. I'm hoping to settle here, for a while anyhow.
For a while? You mean you're only here temporarily?
Who knows? I never planned very far ahead. But if I like working here, and if you like me, I might put down roots maybe. I guess I've got to stop bumming around someday.
I don't quite understand. If you've just been bumming around ever since you left Australia, what have you been living on?
I've been doing different jobs along the way. A bit of grape picking, washing up in cafes. I got a job.
I see. Yes, and you threw up your job on a newspaper in Melbourne to do that, did you?
Listen, my motto is, grab the chances while you can. They might never come again. I resigned from the paper back
You resigned?
home. They didn't boot me out, if that's what you mean. Well, hang on, I've got some references here to prove it. They were really sorry to let me go, I'm not kidding. But the thing was, I'd written this novel, you see.
Another novelist. I'm beginning to feel outclassed.
Okay. Yes, go on, Mr. McFarlane. You wrote a novel. Was it published?
Oh, yes. And everybody's great surprise, it won a prize. Best first novel of the year, you know, the sort of thing. Wasn't any great shakes, believe me, but the prize was in cash. Enough to buy me a one-way ticket to Europe. And here I am.
Yes, I see. Congratulations.
And by that time, you've been working on the newspaper how long?
Ever since I left school. I started as an office boy and worked my way up. Oh, listen, I've had all the proper training. I went through what we call a cadetship back home. I've got my union card and all that.
An Australian card. So you'd still need a work permit before we could take you on. I suppose you know that.
Yeah, well, I could apply, couldn't I? That's the old catch-22. You can't have a work permit till you got a job. You can't get a job till you got a work permit.
Oh, I'm sure it could be managed, couldn't it, Mike?
I don't really know much about it. We'd have to check with the NUJ, of course. You see, we've never employed an Australian on the hill before.
Well, I've never worked for a women editor before, so that makes us even.
Oh, hello, Lynn.
Peter, how did you get in?
Oh, well, Rob was just going out as I arrived.
Oh, was he?
His afternoon break. You unlock the ball and chain?
Yes, that's right. He'll be back later. Well, do sit down if you can find room. Move those menus off the chair.
Is something wrong, Lynn?
What do you mean?
Oh, you seem to be rather... Well, I don't know. Something happened?
No, of course not. I'm just, well, we've all been very busy. It's one of those days.
Well, I hope this might be a good moment to talk.
Well, I'm afraid it isn't. You should have telephoned first. I could have told you.
We've got to talk sometime, you know.
Or some other time, then, because this afternoon I'm really
That's
much
what
too
you
busy.
said to me every day, and we can't keep putting it off forever.
I'm not trying to put it off.
Yes, you are. Lynn.
Nonsense. It's just, well, when I'm at work, I've got 1,000,001 things to do. You know that. And sometime when I'm off duty and we can both sit down quietly and...
And when will that be? In 1984?
Soon. Very soon. We'll make a date. Next weekend, perhaps. How's that?
No, Lynn. You carry on and do whatever it is you've got to do now, and I'll sit here and I'll wait until you've finished. I'm not leaving till we've got this sorted out. I mean that.
Can I help you?
I'm looking for somebody called Foster. Alan Foster, I think it was.
No, there's nobody here by that name. Are you sure you've got the right place?
I think so. They said I'd find him here.
Uh-huh. You're sure he works for the Herald?
Oh, no, he doesn't. And I hope he never will. Eh? Well, nothing personal, you understand, but there's only one job going, and I've got my eye on it. They told me to send in the next man. Foster, his name is.
Oh, that'll be a fellow in glasses that just asked me where the gents was. I'll be back in a moment.
Oh, that's all right, then. I suppose you must be Maurice Gill.
That's me. How did you know?
I've been doing my homework. It wasn't hard to guess. My name's McFarlane. Glad to meet you, Mr. Gill.
How do you do? Oh, that's a good Scottish name, anyhow.
Oh, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I'm from the Melbourne branch of the clan. But I certainly hope I'll be seeing you again.
Well, I wish you luck. How did you get on at your interview?
Hard to say, really. I got one vote for and one against, I reckon.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mike Nash is no fool, and if he's on your side, you're in with a chance.
Oh, no, it wasn't him. It was her. I really hit it off with Liz Warner from the word go. You can always tell, can't you? Now, if I get the job, it'll be because she's rooting for me.
Is that a fact? Look, there's no need for you to hang around, Mr. McFarlane. I'll tell that fella Foster they're ready for him when he comes out.
Oh, I'm in no hurry. I like it here. This office has a really good atmosphere. Know what I mean? That's one of the reasons I'm dead keen to get the job. I could feel it the minute I walked in. This is how it ought to be. One big happy family.
I can't let him go.
Beg your pardon.
I can't let Jeremy come back to you. I want him to stay with me at the old bakery.
Lynn, you've got to be reasonable. You've had him with you now for 3 months.
Exactly. Long enough for him to settle down. Long enough for us to discover that this is a perfectly good arrangement.
His home is with us at Minden Road.
He doesn't want to go back to Minden Road, Peter. He feels like a fish out of water there with those 3 little girls.
For heaven's sake, Lynn, they're his sisters. He's part of our family.
He's my son too, Peter. And he's very happy living with me and Matt. I don't want to change the arrangement.
Now you're just being absurd. Stop and think.
This isn't something I thought up on the spur of the moment. I've been mulling it over for a long time now. These 3 months have been a sort of experiment. And the experiment has been very successful. Let's leave things as they are. Please.
No, Lynn.
You can see him whenever you want to. He can come over to Minden Road for
Look,
visits.
there's no point in arguing about it. Haven't you overlooked something? When it comes down to brass tacks, this decision isn't up to you or me. It's a decision that was taken a long time ago in court, when you agreed that I should have custody, care, and control of Jeremy.
No, Peter.
You've got to accept that, Lynn. The decision is legally binding on us.
It's not an irreversible decision, is it?
As far as I'm concerned, it is. I'm prepared to find out from Jeremy what he really wants, but you should be prepared to do the same. Lynn, I won't have Jeremy shuttle to and fro to suit your whims. And you and Matt had better make up your minds to accept that.
Waggoners Walk was written by Peter Ling and directed by Anton Gill and Penny Lester. You can hear the Omnibus each Sunday afternoon at 5:02, and tomorrow's episode of Waggoners Walk is at 5:05 here on Radio 2.